Ho, 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 ho! Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho! Excelsior!
Come on and visit for any occasion. So keep patting down waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
This is the Christmas episode of Contest of Challengers. And you know what that means? Do you know what that means?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, that means we're recording it close to Christmas.
Okay. And it's being released close to Christmas?
Closer to Christmas than it's being recorded, that's for sure. And it's true.
That's how time works.
It's true that some of the topics will be Christmas themed, but only because of the time of year. You know, because we're talking about things that happened this week, and this week is
Close to Christmas.
Close to Christmas, right. You got it. Thus the Christmas episode.
It's all coming together.
How's your shopping going, Dal?
Pretty much finished. I'm just waiting for one thing to show up in the mail, which is not looking 100% likely. And then
is it the same thing that you were waiting for last time we talked about this?
Yeah.
I figured out what it is. You gave me too many clues.
I mean...
You gave me a clue.
The clues where you specifically said, I'd like this for Christmas. And I said, okay.
Well, the clue is when you said, I'm waiting for this to come from overseas, and you'll know what that means.
Uh-huh.
Like, I didn't. I had no idea what it was. But then I figured it out. I used my old brain box.
Yeah.
So you have a backup present to make up for that, right?
The backup present is a picture of the thing that's in shipment and the tracking number so you can figure out when it's going to show up yourself.
I see. You know, there are some things that I've ordered more and more on Facebook and Instagram, which, by the way, quick sidebar, this last Tuesday, I think it was the 18th, December 18th.
Yep.
I'd read somewhere that was like National Unplugged from Social Media Day.
Okay.
So I did.
Okay.
And I wasn't on Facebook or Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And I stayed off of them both until later Wednesday evening. And I only went on Wednesday evening for store-related things that we'll get to. And I've been on a lot today because of that same store-related thing that we'll get to. But I don't feel like I was missing anything.
From not being on social media?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever have the itch to be on social media.
That's true. You don't. And what I was going to say was I see a lot more ads in my feed, especially on Instagram. And Instagram, oftentimes it'll pull up things I'm like, oh, I'm interested in this. What is this? And there have been a few things that I actually bought and never got.
Weird.
And have written to the company numerous times to no response whatsoever. And then I wrote to the parent company and it got bounced back.
Weird.
So I'm never going to get that $18 ukulele.
I guess not.
Nope. And I can't even remember what the other thing was.
A $19 ukulele?
Yeah. Something like that.
So much money wasted on ukes.
And then I found a neat idea for my sister Karen for Christmas, and I'm like, I'll buy this. It's inexpensive. It's just a little
$20 ukulele.
It's just a little add-on thing. And after it's like, oh, it's international. I will never get this in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
Luckily, her birthday's in January.
So the thing I'm waiting for you, I knew was going to be international, but I thought it was shipping in more than enough time.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know how they shipped it.
I mean,
what method.
I wasn't even 100% that it existed.
Uh-huh.
This is all
I'm not either.
This is all Ken's fault.
We'll see.
Kent was the one who brought this to my attention.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to go see, like, oh, when did this come out? Oh, it makes it sound like it's out now. But at least it's a reputable enough company that I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah,
existing.
I don't think I got scammed in any way. I wish that their communication as far as when it was being shipped and how it was being shipped, it was just like, all right, the order went through, and then like a week later, all right, here's a tracking number. But the tracking number is a kind of tracking that's really vague, where it's like, all right, this is at a place 8 days later. It's still at the place the next day. Okay, it moved. 7 days later. It just says that it moved. I don't, like, how close is it to getting here? Like, all of these things feel very inefficient.
I had ordered two things from a certain website for gifts for Christmas. One for my brother, one for an employee. So I can't say what it is, just in case either of them hear this.
They don't listen.
And George does.
Okay.
Not necessarily to all of them, but occasionally. And if I said what it was, he would hear it.
Okay.
I'm sure he would. But it was the same thing. The tracking, it said, like, label was created, nothing. It showed up. Mm-hmm. Okay. Whatever. That happened.
Yeah, I guess I'm just used to, like, domestic shipping where when the label is created or it's received by the shipment company, they can pretty much say, like, it's going to come between, like, this day and this day.
Yeah.
Like, this day that we're giving you is the target. It might be before that. It might be, like, a day after, but this is the range. But international shipping, it's just like, I don't know.
Unless they have to wait like we do for the post office to actually show up.
I don't know, maybe.
Or then to lie and say, oh, no, we picked up your package.
Who
No,
knows?
you didn't. It's still right here.
Who knows?
And then I have a shipping issue with a Comics Fists pin that I had sold on Etsy to someone in Canada, and they have yet to get it. And it was sent out like the 5th of December.
Maybe that's because Canada's not a real country.
That could be.
I don't think it actually exists.
I mean, I think I've been there, but
That was just
was
upstate
driving.
Michigan.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't know for sure that was a different country.
I don't.
They could say anything they want.
It was
It's like when you go to medieval times or whatever. Like, you're still in, like, Schaumburg. You're not actually in, like,
You're in jolly
medieval
old England. Yeah,
You're
you
not.
are.
Like,
No,
they just say that.
What?
Or, like, Amish country, you know? It's like traveling back in time. Like, it's not literally traveling back in time. You're still in, like, Pennsylvania.
When I was in college, I had a watercolor class with a watercolor professor named Wynne Jones. And he was apparently a big deal in the watercolor world. Mm-hmm. And he would alternate his teaching method per semester. One semester would be nothing but drills and how-to and technique and all of this, like, intense teaching. Mm-hmm. And the next semester would be, you paint, I critique.
Okay.
So I got him on a you paint, I critique semester, which I ultimately don't feel like I learned anywhere near as much as I should have. Mm-hmm. But my hallmark for that semester was every single painting I did was superhero related.
Okay.
Leading up to the very last one, it was a very, I called it a Technicolor Batman.
Okay.
And I got a B on it, and his comment was,
B for Batman.
this is the least offensive of all of your work this semester.
High praise.
Right. But one of the things I painted was a portrait of the character that we were talking about that I may be getting a thing for Christmas from you. Mm-hmm. And what I had done was I'd painted a solid, flat wall, a brick wall, and then I painted this character in pieces and put little paper springs. So he was coming off of the wall at different levels.
Neat.
And so there was just a hand with a gun right as the closest thing to the viewer.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it may be in my closet, or I may have thrown it away. I don't know.
Well, you'll have to make a little display once Christmas comes through.
Well, it was all of my paintings were large, very large. I still have the my watercolor board. You know, because you gotta soak your paper.
I don't
and
know
then
that.
staple it down to a board so when it dries, it tightens.
I don't know anything about
I
it.
just told you. You know it. There you go. But anyway, we're not here to talk about my painting class from college
Thank goodness.
or Wynne Jones. We're here to talk about all the things that teach us in our daily lives to hopefully be better at our jobs. And by that, what I mean is this is a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network. And we were discussing last week about a store that was closing because they just got tired and wanted to move on.
Sure.
Well, there's more.
Okay.
And by that, I mean more stores. Happy Harbor in Edmonton is calling it quits after 19 years.
Wow. They had some really interesting store design. I think they've done some cool, like, use of their logo and some of their...
Yeah.
I remember seeing some Diamond Best Practice Award stuff they were nominated
Like
for. And I thought
the
they
door
really
handles
good.
were H's.
Yeah.
They had a silhouette of a hero. But Happy Harbor had a very specific effect on the people that shop at Challengers because we took the way we cut our back issue boxes from them, the way we cut it down into a V to the handle so there's no
Sure, so you
pulling
can
of the
see
top.
the top of the cover.
Yeah, and you can pull out with striking the handle.
Right.
And the pillars, the stanchions that The idea came from them. They used square wood, and we use round PVC pipe, and the PVC pipe was actually Challenger's idea.
Which is smart, because it's way more resilient than the wood was.
Yeah,
Like,
we
the wood ones
used
had
wood
to
in the
replace
beginning,
'cause-
but only because that was all I could find
And people broke them.
immediately. Well, people keep breaking the plastic ones, too. I didn't think it was possible, but
It depends
I'm
on
gluing them all the time.
on how rough you treat them.
Yeah.
Like, I've had to tell children who are with their parents not to sit on them.
I've had to tell
They're not for
adults
sitting.
not to sit on them.
Not for sitting on.
Dale, you had to tell an adult to put back his handful of free candy canes
Uh-huh.
that he just grabbed,
As he was walking out the door.
like not like two, like a mittful.
Which is why I had to say something.
Yeah.
If you grab one and maybe a second one, like, it might not be worth my time to ask you to put one back. But when you go in, handful, huge claw of a hand, and just, you can hear the rustling of the plastic on, like, 10 candy canes.
Yeah.
Then I have to go, one. Just one. You know,
Oh.
leave some for everybody.
Oh, sorry. You're not sorry.
Yeah.
You're sorry you got caught.
Yeah, you're sorry you got caught. You're not sorry you did it.
This is weird to me because we put out candy canes every year, and this is the year that we have to keep replenishing. Like, we've gone through, we had a box of 100, and then 2 boxes of 36 each, and then 2 more boxes of 36.
People have no problem helping themselves, which
But
honestly
I mean,
fine.
But like,
what they're there
why
for.
is it this year all of a sudden? Last year, like, we'd always have to, we wound up throwing them away.
I don't know.
And I've always used candy canes as decorations for the Christmas tree, the normal size candy canes.
Sure.
But we have problems with people wanting to take them off the tree and eat them, to which we say, don't do that. Those have been in storage for 10 years.
Yeah. We reuse them every year. They're just decoration.
Let me put it this way. The bin that they get saved in, the person who wrote the note that this is full-size candy canes going here was Molly C.
Uh-huh. That was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
That was a long while ago.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting rid of this tree and perhaps getting a new one at an after Christmas sale. Although I don't know where because I don't like any of the ones Target had, and they're way too expensive.
Wanted to switch to a natural
I
tree
did,
and not an
I
artificial
did,
tree.
but I think that has its own problems, and we don't have a tree stand.
Could
We
get a
need
tree
to,
stand.
Well, we'd have to buy a tree stand, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The point is, I'm looking forward to not having to store this tree
Sure.
for another year.
One way or another.
Being that this is the Christmas season, we had a visit from Santa this week, and Santa surprised a lot of people
Sure.
on Wednesday.
Mostly because we didn't have like a spot for Santa, so Santa was just like standing at the side counter. So you'd walk in the front door and you would just see Santa from behind.
Yeah,
And he would just turn and say, hello. And he's right there when you walk in.
but he was
It's
also
weird.
waving at people through the windows. People would run in, like, walk in and be like, Santa!
Yeah.
Santa! And then walk out. Not
Typical
buying anything.
Chicago, people
Yeah.
would pound on the window when they saw him.
Yep.
Thanks, Chicago. Pounding on the window.
But one of the things that Santa had done at our request is he made a little video that Santa himself wrote. It was basically for us to put on social media to say, hey, this holiday season, make sure you come in and clean out your whole box.
Yeah.
That's the simple message.
Yeah.
He elaborated a little bit more. And then I had said, hey, why don't we do a generic one that doesn't mention challengers, and I'll offer it to other retailers.
Just for the retail community.
Yeah.
Every store who has a subscription service, usually around December, is like, hey, if you can come get your stuff. Because we've talked about it before. Like, once Thanksgiving hits, in the U.S., people get real busy. Like, things can fall by the wayside. You know, the emphasis on travel and gift purchasing and Christmas parties and
Just
kids
like
getting out of school.
all the things associated with the holiday.
All that stuff can lead to people kind of forgetting about stuff. And that can mean that picking up your weekly or monthly subscription might be one of those things that gets forgotten about. So most stores that I know of can feel it a little bit in December, where you're missing some of the regular shoppers and your subscription boxes are kind of piling up.
Ho, 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 ho! Hello, Santa just wanted to take a moment to spread some holiday cheer in the form of a request. Please, go to your comic shop, pick up your whole books, Make sure to have fun with those books this holiday season, because if you don't pick them up, you may find coal in your hold box. And coal is no fun, but comics are wonderful fun. Ho, 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 ho!
That is what I was referring to when I said I had to be on social media, because I had to offer it up. Mm-hmm. And I put it on 2 different boards that I follow. And it said, basically, Santa came by and made this video for us. And he did one branded for challengers, and he did this separate one for anyone to use. If you want it, PM me your email address. Mm-hmm. Now, it's only a 25-second video, but that's way too big to email.
Okay.
So the way I'm getting it to people is through Dropbox.
Okay.
So far, I've sent it to about 25 different retailers.
Cool.
Which I think is a good number, high number. There were about 5 or 6 of them that I had that said, "Hey, I'll take it." They had to say, "I need your email address."
PM me your email address.
Yes, it was right in the thing.
Put it right in there.
There was one retailer who just could not figure Dropbox out, and there was a lot of back and forth, or a little back and forth, but he figured it out this morning.
Okay.
That's fine. But my favorite thing about this is, in one of the groups, there had to be one person that is just like, "I know we're all concerned about hold boxes, but you got to be diligent about this all year long. You can't let it get out of hand. You can't let people be delinquent. You got to be firm. You know, you're not being a dick if you're asking them to get their books, blah, blah, blah." Just like saying, like, you shouldn't need to do this. You should be on top of it. Prior to this, there was a post about the Stan Lee memorial covers. Mm-hmm. Now, if anybody hasn't seen them, what Marvel did was they took all the logos off their books, and there's a black stripe going across the top that says Stan Lee with the year he was born and the year he died.
Yeah, it's basically all their superhero comics, for the most part, starting December 19th, and it'll be for the next few weeks. So, like, basically a month's worth of comics.
Yeah.
Will have their covers changed to reflect Stan's passing. And the opening of the books is also, like, a few black pages and then a picture of Stan that Phil Noto drew.
So the titles of the books are in a small white font in the lower left-hand corner of each book.
Yeah, if you've seen any of DC's Virgin Art variant covers, it's kind of like that. Where they'll just have it real small at the bottom. Even the barcode is on the back. None of the credits are on the front, I don't think.
Correct. None of the credits are on the front.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I understand that Marvel wants to do something to honor Stan's passing. I think it's appropriate that they should do that. I think there's a level at which it interferes with the effectiveness of their business that I think they maybe didn't take into account. It beyond just the ways it affects how we do our job, like, it was more difficult to receive their product this week than it normally is.
It was harder to unpack. It was harder to separate. It was harder to pull club. And just the way they look on the shelves, you don't necessarily know what books that are. And then it makes you realize how many of their covers look identical.
Yeah, I think there's a way that they could have done the bar at the top and still done the logos.
Completely agree.
It doesn't feel like they needed to completely remove all the content from the cover, because these aren't variant covers that were done specifically for honoring Stan Lee.
Yeah, so they all have big empty space at the top where a logo was supposed to go.
It just looks weird. And then, like, the cover content doesn't match the, Stan Lee memorial at the top. Because what's on the cover could just be the West Coast Avengers reacting to a silhouette, or the new X-Force team posing together, or Jean Grey walking off into a white light. Like, these are not all the same message.
Right. And as you pointed out, they didn't know that they were going to be memorial covers.
No.
And you also pointed out that you thought it was them testing the waters to try to do variant covers like DC does.
Oh, yeah. I had suggested, maybe cynically, that this might have been the solution they came up with, because those DC Virgin covers do real well.
Well, one of the reasons that I don't have the same problem with the DC covers is it's always a B cover, and we always order the A cover.
We don't get that many of them.
So, first of all, on the shelf, you can see it's Justice League because it's sitting next to a book with a Justice League logo. Yeah. Same thing when they're in the boxes and we're flipping through. You can tell what it is.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting that now that the cover artists know that these are going to be logoless covers, they're designing the cover image
for the full cover
to use the entire cover. So there's not this like blank space at the top where a logo would go. There's the full figure or the full frame.
And these also weren't announced ahead of time. It was after we placed orders. By the way, these are the books that are going to be the memorial.
And I mean, it's not like we would have changed our orders.
Right. And
I assume people are still going to want Extermination 5 whether or not it's got the logo on the cover.
I think it's important to do something to acknowledge Stan's passing.
Absolutely.
I know we did in the store.
Yeah.
And I don't begrudge them for that. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have done this. You'll notice the words I used were, I don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, I would go so far as to say I think they could have done it differently.
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily say better, but I think there was maybe a way that they could have honored Stan while at the same time doing their job as a publishing company. You know? There's a way they kind of could have done both, and I don't think that the two negate each other. Like, they could have coexisted.
Actually, I think this is a perfect point to drop in something that I put in every year right around this time.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama, in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sled and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver, so lively and quick I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and he shouted and he called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all, as dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly. When they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sled full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof, as I drew in my hand and was turning around. Down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings. Then he turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Excelsior, true believers! Happy holidays from Stanley.
Thank you, Stan.
Thanks, Dan.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
The reason I brought that up is because another retailer had posted something about the covers on one of these forums and basically said, the way I rack, this ruins people's ability to see what these books are.
Yeah.
If they do waterfall or if they fan, like Captain America, who's only in the right corner, like the right side of the cover, if you fan, he's completely obscured and there's no logo.
Or like, if you do waterfall, so you can only see the top of the cover.
You have no idea.
Yeah, like, basically...
It looks like every comic is a Stanley tribute book.
It's tough enough on week one if you're full facing on a waterfall rack, like the front section.
Yeah.
You might see the full cover. But man, like that West Coast Avengers cover, in week 2 or 3 or 4, you'll have literally no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just gray with a black bar that says Stan Lee above it. Like, the West Coast Avengers on the bottom of the cover. So these are things that are not great as far as, a solution to honor Stan maybe could have used a little bit more work. When we first saw the covers, the design, I think we saw it because they sent out using Infinity War's Fallen Guardian, I think.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I'm like, this isn't the finished image, right? Like, it's going to have the logo on it. And you're like, no, that's just going to have the logo at the bottom. I'm like, that seems like a not great way to do this. And sure enough, when we got him in hand, the first thing I said when I saw him was, man, stores who use waterfall racks are going to have real problems this month.
So a retailer posted about how it's not working for him. And it caused a deluge of comments, pro and con. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people being like, well, I beg to differ. This I think it's great. I think it's a wonderful tribute, and I think I'm going to sell more in this. And it was back and forth, back and forth. Somebody had it.
So that is, I'm just curious real quick, that's the pro that people were coming up with was, I disagree, I like it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if there would be like, if they had an additional like, beyond, I like it, like.
No, I no. But somebody had to say, look, for everybody who's saying, I disagree with this post, I think it's a good idea, you're not helping. This is somebody who said, this doesn't work for my business, and here's why, and here's the problem I have with it. For someone to say, well, you're wrong, and that the reason I brought that up was because of the, hey, here's a video you can use if you want to remind people to come in. Well, you shouldn't need to do that.
Okay, well, some stores do. Yeah, and going back to the Marvel cover thing, we don't use waterfall racks. We full face our stuff. We're not going to have any problem with it because you can see the logo on it. You can see the full cover. But that doesn't stop me from unpacking the books, looking at them and going, this is going to be a real problem for a percentage of stores.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they should have done it differently.
Well,
like
it's enough for a problem where Infinity War, Fallen Guardian, you look at it like, oh, is this a new Guardians of the Galaxy comic?
That next to Infinity Wars they look like the same goddamn book. It looks like one's a variant cover for the other book instead of two completely different comics.
So for the guy who posted on my post about, oh, you shouldn't need to do this, and he'd used the word delinquent, I had written a post that said, first of all, I never said delinquent. Second of all, taking his quote, you're not a dick if you remind people to come get their books. That's what this is doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is doing. This is just hopefully, to borrow a phrase from a classic movie icon who has, I think, a new film this week. A spoonful of sugar, Patrick, helps the medicine go down. So that's from Aquaman. I don't know if you saw that line.
Oh no, I
Aquaman.
thought the line was, the sea washes our tears away.
One of the funniest lines in the film.
I mean, you were laughing a lot.
I laughed a lot at Aquaman. We'll talk about Aquaman later, maybe.
Maybe.
Doing a fun video where Santa, recommends that people come in and get their comics from their local comic shop is hopefully a fun way of doing it instead of, a hectoring, chiding email that you're letting us down by not picking up your books and come get your books, it's killing us. One of those is probably going to be successful and one of those probably is not going to be.
Yeah.
So do whichever one works best for your store. If you don't think the Santa one works, don't use it. No one's twisting your arm.
Right. Why comment at all? Mm-hmm. That's my question. So ultimately, I did not.
It's the internet.
I'm like,
it exists so people can tell other people they're wrong.
Calling this guy out. It's not. I'm just going to ignore it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ignore it.
Because what's the argument then? That he's being an insensitive jerk. Okay, where's that argument going to go?
Somebody else had said, "Hey, you should make this video public so everyone can use it." well, this isn't a public forum.
Right.
This is a retailer forum, and I don't know that people have a way to just steal other people's videos off of Facebook, so I was offering to give it to people.
Sure. So they can release it under their own social network.
Yeah.
You know?
And somebody had said, "Oh, do you want us to credit you?" And I said, "No, we have our own.
You know, don't
Like
worry
that,
about it.
that's the whole point of doing a generic one, so you don't have to."
Yeah, so it's a message from you to your customers.
Yeah.
Inserting us into it, why bother?
I did actually edit. I didn't edit them because I did everything on my phone, but I did chop it a little bit because at the end Santa had said something like, "Don't make me get Mrs. Claus involved." And after it was recorded, I thought maybe not the message to end on.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why Santa would put that in there as a little joke, but yeah, when I was hearing it being recorded, I thought, I don't know if I'd do that.
Yeah, so while Santa ended like funny, just like shaking his head like and there was a good definitive end, I chopped that off of each version,
Sure.
so it kind of ends a little abruptly.
Okay.
But ultimately, and like I see what Santa meant.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like I'm just asking you politely.
Right.
You don't want to make her mad.
Yeah.
But I thought,
But it's
better of it.
It's death of the author. Once it gets out there, you don't get to control
Right.
how it's received,
Right.
what people interpret it as.
So we took that away, so that wouldn't be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still talked about it right here,
Yep.
but nonetheless. And I have yet to see it anywhere online, but there's a lot of stores that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's Facebook, people don't. It's just a person's name. You don't necessarily know what their store. And if they don't put their store in their bio, you don't know. So it's usually in the email addresses and things.
Okay.
And I noticed that I've got a stack more. Also, these are not people I'm friends with, so these are in my other message folder, so I have to keep checking that. And sometimes they don't show up, but they do on my phone or vice versa.
Weird.
So I'm just double checking to make sure I don't miss a name.
Zuckerberg.
It's an interesting situation. Speaking of interesting situations, the shipping schedule and the billing schedule for Diamond for the next few weeks
Bit of a
is
moving target.
really awkward. So, because Christmas and New Year's are holidays, and they're both on Tuesdays, which is traditionally the day we get our books.
Yep. Well, and additionally, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, which are also days that certain places are closed or have limited schedules, are Mondays.
Yeah.
And then the day before that is Sunday, where stuff is not usually open or being shipped. Like Tuesday is maybe the absolute worst day of the week for these holidays to land, because the knock-on effect is pretty severe. There's like 3 days basically where they can't get stuff to us.
So what they did was the publishers decided upon a shortened release schedule, and seeing as how January is a 5 Wednesday month, they took the last week of December and moved it to January. So there are still 5 full weeks of books in January, not like a skip week at the end of the month where there's Hanna-Barbera specials.
Yeah, DC annuals.
And what they did was they gave us all of next week's books with this week's books shipment.
So in the shipment of stuff for December 19th, we also received the product for December 26th. We can't sell it till December 26th, but we were able to receive it. So it will be on the shelves when we open December 26th. It'll be in people's subscriber spots, same as always.
But it's a very small list.
Yeah, you can see it online. It's basically like 10 books.
If that.
Yeah.
That includes trades.
Yeah. Marvel's...
And of these 10 books, it's like, we get 1 copy of Mars Attacks.
Yeah. Marvel definitely did the most as far as the premier publishers and making sure there'd be product on the rack for the week of Christmas. It's the Fantastic Four oversized wedding issue. It's X-Force #1.
It's Superior Spider-Man #1.
And Uncanny X-Men for the week.
Yeah.
So those are all there. That's a lot of stuff. DC, as far as premier publishers go, pretty much did the least in that there are no single-issue comics from DC that week. There's only 3 collections, only one of which we actually ordered for Challengers.
And I think it's a special order.
Maybe.
So we might not even have it for the shelf.
Yeah. But companies like IDW and Image, Dark Horse, I think maybe, Boom, all did some stuff. So there would be some scattered product from those companies. But again, it's not a lot of stuff. Certainly based on what we normally order, it's not a huge amount of product. But there will be new books.
Right. But then to make matters more confusing, the next time we get new books would be Wednesday, January 2nd. Mm-hmm. Normally, we would get the invoice for those books on
December 26th.
December 26th, the Wednesday before. Yeah. For whatever reason, that invoice was up this week on December 19th.
Yeah, I think that was mostly down to... It goes up for retailers basically very early in the morning on the Wednesday, a week before it comes out. So normally, for January 2nd product, the invoice would go up on Diamond's website for retailers like 4 or 5 in the morning, December 26th. That's because they basically run them 24 hours before. So like if you look at the run date on the invoice, I think it's usually like Monday or Tuesday. They're obviously not going to be open Monday and Tuesday, December 24th and 25th. So in lieu of them having to kind of run it a few days early, they might as well do it the week early because they already ran it for December 26th the week before. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like they ran the December 26th stuff December 12th. So December 19th they could do nothing, or they could just do the January 2nd list.
Number one, we're getting these books slightly early. Like, they start shipping to stores on Friday the 28th. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when we can pick them up at the warehouse?
Yeah, drop points... accounts who pick up at drop points can get them starting at 2 p.m. Friday, December 28th.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. Also, and these are books for January 2nd, mm-hmm. On the invoice for January 2nd, it specifically said across the top, this invoice is for product coming out Wednesday, December 26th.
Yeah, I think that was just left over from the previous invoice and they forgot to correct it.
Well, just because Diamond sends out an email saying, hey, you can't sell those books yet, how many retailers read emails?
Yeah, I don't foresee it being a huge problem.
Not for us. It's definitely going to... Like, there are definitely retailers who are going to put that product out. Hands down.
Well, I mean, that's always the risk. I don't...
Well, what I didn't appreciate was the email from Diamond didn't say, hey, it was a mistake. It's like, hey, you can't do this. And also, part 2 of this was the December 26 books were supposed to be billed to us for January 2nd. They weren't.
No.
So now they're going to be on January 9th.
Yes.
Because of the way the weeks fall and because of their holidays and their time off, we're already stacking up reorders.
Uh-huh.
We haven't been billed for reorders, and now we're going to get billed for that product a week later than we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Probably the week that all the reorders come due.
Well, I thought there was a reorder.
There was a tiny reorder.
Yeah, but that was just last week.
But they said we're going to get billed for the stuff it'll be on the January 9th invoice. Mm-hmm. When does that invoice come out?
January 2nd.
So nothing next week. So there'll be another whole week where we'll have placed reorders and things.
Well, I was going to talk to you about that. I don't know if I'm going to place a normal reorder on December 23rd.
Okay.
Maybe, but I kind of don't want to specifically for that reason.
Yeah.
We did some last minute ones this week for holiday shopping.
Is that be coming in tomorrow, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
The tracking number is posted this morning, so it's coming in tomorrow.
Is it just a box?
I think it's like 2 boxes.
How dare you?
It's some trades and some reorders.
You know I'm working by myself.
And a case of toys.
Ugh.
I think that's it. And if it hasn't come in today, then the Dogmans for December 24th should also be coming in tomorrow.
From B&T,
yeah. Baker and Taylor.
Yeah, that's another.
Yeah,
it's another thing.
So, but anyway, yeah. So because of the fact that we're closed on the 25th and it wouldn't show up until that Thursday and blah blah blah, I just feel like I might do one that's just reorders and stuff, a small order.
Sure,
but we don't need to do like usually we would do an order for special orders, an order for reorders, and then an order based off of that week's new books to restock anything or fill any holes that we need. But I mean that ship's already sailed basically.
Well, we want to be stocked up so people start spending that sweet holiday money.
Yeah, I mean, that's a consideration. We will be out of a lot of things on December 26th, but if you're okay with it, I'm all right just saying, we'll get it in the next week.
Well, we wouldn't get it the 26th anyway.
No, it would be the 27th at best.
Oh, yeah, or probably the 28th more realistically.
So, yeah, if you're okay, I'm all right maybe holding off until a few, like, not right away.
Well, we'll have the same problem the week after because of New Year's, because they're also closed at the same time.
What I might do is maybe
midweek or something.
Yeah, like after hours, one night I'll just put together one and send it out because I don't really need to be in the store to do it.
Right.
I can do it whenever. So yeah, I might do it like Thursday night or Friday night, so that way it shows up by Wednesday, January 2nd.
Timing for this year was not great for when the orders are due for February.
Yeah.
It was originally this upcoming Sunday, but they moved it to, I think, the 26th.
Yeah, the new catalog, the print copy of previews is in stores January 2nd, but the digital catalog was supposed to go up the 19th and it hasn't gone up yet. So that might go up in the next few days or maybe the 26th. So
yeah, that's right. That was your plan to work on it all day Wednesday.
yeah, didn't even get started because it never got posted.
Which is a moot point because the invoice came in anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that worked out okay. So I for people who are looking forward to the March 2019 catalog posting on the Challenger's website, I don't know when it's going to be. Let's assume probably by January 2nd.
Because we are closed Tuesday, you'll be putting out the books Monday night, I'm assuming.
Yeah, before I go home. Because
you'll have to
club that day too.
You'll have to do the boards and the
placemat.
Release mat. Yeah, those are already done.
Yeah, I figured.
But separate, they're called whatever their title is, like release mat December 26th.
Okay. And that's just on the desktop? Or is that in the folder?
I'll try to remember to move them to the desktop.
If
They're
you
in
just
their
put
normal
them,
places.
like maybe where the I usually put files for FedEx, just in the corner there.
They're just in the release.
I'm sure I can find it. I'm not worried about it.
Board file folder
Yeah.
in the Challengers thing. So they're already made up.
Yeah, I'll take
They
care of
just
it.
need to be posted.
Not a problem.
Because I was working on obviously the next one.
Sure.
Such a weird, like next year in 2019 when Christmas is a Wednesday, it won't be nearly as confusing as all this stuff is because we'll get the books early or probably that Tuesday, hopefully like normal or whatever.
I'm curious what they're going to do for that.
Well, I mean,
Are they going to let us sell them on Tuesday the 24th or make us wait for Thursday the 26th?
I assume make us wait.
I wonder.
Well, I mean, it happens every 7 years.
Yeah.
Every 6 years, every whatever, with leap years and whatnot.
But the change since, 5 or 6 years ago is Tuesday delivery.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day they'll let us be able to pay online as well. And now the new rumor is their pull list service launches in the spring.
Spring of 2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
How long after it was announced? I mean, these things do not move fast.
They really don't. The roadmap for it was posted, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of formally announced, a year ago at least, I feel like. Maybe longer.
Well, until they have that as a thing that we actively use, we'll keep going along and using the systems we have in place. And the last few weeks we've been talking about all the emails we send out and the form that we were going to make for subscribers. And Dal, you made the form.
I did, yeah. It's a lot of text.
It really is, and it's. I'm looking at it, and what is it? 8-point font.
It's pretty small. It's a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper.
But I mean, there's a lot of information to convey.
I didn't want to be glib about it. I didn't want to make a lot of assumptions. This is coming from a perspective of if you have no idea what we do as far as subscriber emails, here's the ones we send out. Here's why we send them out. Here's why we think you'll find them valuable. It's not trying to be about help us do our jobs better so much as it's if you want to get the most out of your having a subscription. Like if you've chosen to keep a subscription at Challengers, these are the tools that we're giving you to make sure that you're getting the books you want when you want them, so the right things are waiting for you, so you're never confused about what is or is not on your list or what's available or what you can get or what you can sign up for. These are the reasons why we send out these emails. It's not about, badgering people about coming in to get your books or whatever. That's not what this is.
But because of all these services we offer, and especially because we have this email primer, I'm less likely to be tolerant with people with the whole, I thought it was down for that or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you get your list every single month. But anyway, I'm going to read to you now, as Dal pulls out his phone to
do something else for 3 minutes.
Tune out. It's longer than 3 minutes.
I know what it says. I wrote it.
Right. It's going to be a lengthy one. Let's see. You should time me.
Okay.
He's actually going to pull up his...
Yeah, I don't know where I have that. Where's timer?
Man, all you people who don't use folders on
I
your
do.
iPhones.
I do use folders. That's why I don't know where it is. I never use it.
I could get to mine right away.
I have one on my watch. I'll do it on my watch.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Thrilling podcasting right here.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to talk normal. I'm not going to try to blow through it.
Yeah.
I want to convey the information as well as possible.
Go.
A primer on subscriber emails. By the way, if there's any pauses, it's because I can't see the font because it's so small. In case you weren't aware, we send out a variety of emails to our subscribers, and only our subscribers, every month. We say, in case you weren't aware, because the open rate on these emails is dreadfully low. So, to give you the tools to manage your subscriptions and to get the most out of your comics reading experience, here's some info on what emails we're sending you and why. Section 1. Weekly subscriber email. Every Friday, we send out an email to any subscriber who has new items arriving the next week. We send out these emails on Fridays, notifying you of what you can expect the following Wednesday. For example, we'd send out an email on Friday the 14th to notify subscribers of what will be arriving for them on Wednesday the 19th. Included in that email is also a list of everything we're expecting to have on the shelves the next week. We send this email out so you can make sure that everything you'd like to have waiting for you is listed. Too often we'll hear subscribers say things like, I thought I was down for this, or I didn't know I'd be getting this. That's what this email is for. If you see something in the email you no longer want, let us know. If you don't see something in the email you do want, let us know that too. Nowadays, hot books can blow off the shelves in a matter of days, so if you wait a few weeks after release to come in and notice you've missed out on something, it may be too late to get you a copy. We want you to have all the great comics you want, so please check out your subscriber email each week. Section 2. Monthly catalog notification. To really get you ahead of the game, we send an email once a month to all our subscribers with a link to the current monthly catalog. We order most comics and graphic novels 2 months in advance. As soon as we get access to the monthly catalog, we make sure you have access too. Included in our subscriber info posts each month are A list of every new series from all major publishers and most minor publishers, B, any automatic additions we've made to folks' subscriptions based on their current requests, and C, our most anticipated releases for the next month. Orders for the monthly catalog are usually open for about 3 weeks, giving you plenty of time, we hope, to look through the listings and email us if you'd like to have anything added to your subscriptions. We also tack on an up-to-date list of all your current subscriptions when we send out the monthly catalog notification, so you see everything we're pulling for you. That's a great time to send us any tweaks you'd like us to make, like adding something you've just checked out or dropping something that's not working for you anymore. As always, we want you to be getting all the books you like and only the books you like. Section 3. If you like, ampersand. Oh, not ampersand, ellipsis, sorry. If you like, ... Sometimes, after the new catalog posts, we'll see books that we're afraid fans have overlooked. Oh, wrong emphasis. We'll see books that we're afraid fans have overlooked. In those instances, we'll send emails pointing out upcoming series or graphic novels that might be of interest. For example, if a Marvel character you follow has a new miniseries coming out, we'll give you a heads up. Or if a writer you like has a new Image series coming out, we'll let you know. Like the monthly catalog, these emails can help us make sure that we've got the books you want when you want them. Final section. Thanks for reading. We appreciate you trusting us with your comics and subscriptions, and we work hard to earn that trust. Now that you know more about these emails, hopefully you'll give them a look when they show up in your inbox. And if they're not showing up in your inbox, please ask us what email address we're using so we can make sure they get to you. I added that. That was my line. With thousands of comics and graphic novels coming out each month, it can be daunting to figure out what's good and what's for you. Compounding matters are frequent sellouts and long waits for new printings. Just a few minutes each month can help make sure your subscription experience is stress-free and exactly what you need. Signed, your friends at Challengers. Time.
4 minutes and 26 seconds.
Did you forget you were recording?
I was. Yeah.
So there you have it. Now, if you are a subscriber and you listen to this podcast, you can breeze through that because, A, you've heard us talk about this type of occurrence a million times.
Ad nauseum.
even though this is only podcast number 403, we talked about it literally a million times.
Yep.
And you weren't one of those people anyway, because you're smart enough to listen to this, so you know what's up.
Sure.
You're on top of the ballgame. I am afraid that because it's so text-heavy, people will ignore it.
So, two things. First of all, a little behind the scenes. The thing it took me the longest time to write on that was Your Friends at Challengers. I could not figure out how I wanted to sign it off. I didn't want to put, like, Challengers or, like, the management. And I'm like, should I start listing, like, everybody who works here? And then I'm like, this is too long.
What I always use is Your Pals at Challengers.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll use the @ symbol.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say YER pals.
Like, again, I didn't...
Your Pals at Challengers.
What I didn't want in this was for it to be glib.
Right.
I didn't want it to be like, hey, we're all just joking around. Like, no, this is hopefully some pertinent information, and I want to frame it in a way where it is informative and not just like, you know, who's riffing, you know? It's no riffing.
Yeah.
No riffing.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the reason this exists in the form it does is a printed thing that we can hand to people is not necessarily because we assume they're all going to read it. At least that's not the reason I wanted to do it. It's so that when we're handing it to them, we can go, hey, here's the thing about the emails we send out. And then as we're handing it to a subscriber, we can say, this just talks about the different emails we send out weekly. Like on Fridays, we send out stuff about your expected books next week. And we send out an email when the new catalogs are coming in. Like, have you been getting those emails? Have you been seeing those? And if people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about, we can be like, hey,
let's check your email address.
Let's check your email address. Let's maybe
Yeah.
go into more detail on this. Instead of just, the last thing I want with this, and we'll go over this with everybody at the store who's working there, I don't want this to just be shoved into people's books and put in a bag. I don't want them to get it home and just be like, I don't know what this is, and throw it out.
Right.
This is a tool so that all that information is written down if they want to refer to it, but that's just a foot in the door. That's just to be able to have a little brief moment to say, we send out emails, are you getting them? Like, do we have your right email address? Do you know why you're getting these emails? If you've never opened them, it may be unclear why you're getting them, so you just delete them out of hand. A ton of people have real problems just letting stuff stack up in their inbox. It doesn't seem important to them. It just seems like one more, advertisement or one more suggested purchase, so they're never going to bother opening it. But when it's like, hey, when you come in here and you don't know if you have Batman Damned waiting for you, or you ask us to add something to your list, but it's too late because it sold out yesterday, these are the emails that can stop that from happening. These are the things that will tell you, yes, you have Batman Damned on your list, or no, you definitely do not. Or you can see, oh, this book is coming out in 2 months. I want to make sure that, War of the Realms is waiting for me, or whatever. That's what these things are for.
And just like the annual Challengers Christmas card, I'm sure we'll be picking up these off of the floor, the shelf, the back issues.
Sure. Yeah, there's no 100% success rate with any of this sort of information. Like, if we can get... Again, the open rates on these emails are not great. The amount of people who... The basic tools that we're giving them to manage their subscription list they're not using is high.
And I get it. Like, I don't like getting a lot of... some publishers are sending us 2, 3, 4 emails a day. Mm-hmm. That's too many. And I don't like getting emails from services. I'll sign up to anybody's mailing list if I'm buying a gift for the holidays and they offer me a discount for being
Sure.
on the mailing list. But then I'll unsubscribe.
But that's not what this is. Like,
right.
So for me, I do a lot of my plastic robot toy buying through Big Bad Toy Store. You can pre-order stuff through their website. You don't pay for it till it comes in. So they'll send out emails to say, hey, you've bought other stuff by this manufacturer. We just listed these new items. And that's great, because that stuff doesn't come out on a schedule. They could go months without offering anything, and then a company like Iron Factory can be at a convention and announce literally their entire 2019 lineup. It can be 20-something different figures.
Yeah.
So them saying, hey, all of these 20 figures are up now, there's no set day that I would normally go check that. So having them send me an email means, oh, cool. Since I read that email, I know to go to their website and pre-order that stuff. Similarly, they'll send me out an email saying, hey, this thing you pre-ordered, we're going to be receiving it in the next few days. So that's going to hit your credit card. So make sure that your billing address is up to date, that your payment information is up to date, that your shipping address is up to date. So that way when it comes in, there's no problems. And if there's been a problem or a change with any of those information from me, that gives me the time I need to go in and fix it. So instead of them saying, oh, this stuff bounced back and we just put it out for sale, I can make sure it's waiting for me. When I get stuff shipped out that's been on pre-order, I like getting an email that says, here's everything we're shipping out. Here's the tracking information. Here's all this stuff. Like, that's all information I love to be able to have, and it's why they're one of my favorite stores to order from, because that stuff is at my fingertips, and it's the information I need when I need it. So I would hope that the people who use our subscription service, who are regular customers, who are getting regular things on a regular basis, would want that same amount of information. And that's the stuff we send out.
The majority of our distributors that we use to get product from don't do that.
No.
Every time we place an order from Attaboy or from Poster Emporium, I have to wait days to find out what the total was.
Right.
Southern Hobby doesn't give us invoices until... Like, they give us invoices with the product, but the digital invoices we get a day or two after we've received the product.
Yeah, when we send out emails to subscribers on Fridays for their next week's shipments, included in there is a total. Here's how many books you're getting. Here's how much they all cost.
Here's what it costs.
Here's what it's going to be before discount, so you can plan out your week. For some people, there's a difference between $25 worth of stuff comes in or $50 worth of stuff comes in.
Right.
And they like knowing that ahead of time, I'd hope.
I understand wanting to give a spam email address in case you think you're going to be getting junk from us. And we have had people be like, I don't get your emails. Well, this is the one we have on file. Oh, yeah, that's my spam one.
Yeah, that's not my real address. Like,
sure.
Well,
we do make it a point to say people, hey, we take your email address because we send these emails when we sign you up, but we don't sign everybody up. There's other people who work for us. It may not be conveyed properly.
Yeah, and most of this information is at the top of the subscription sign-up sheet, and we make sure that people take that part with them so they have it all written down. We go over it, I go over it when they sign up. But even if I'm not there or you're not there, that stuff is written down on there to explain like what we're doing with your email address and how we communicate with you to, again, make sure that the subscription is going smoothly.
Now, one of the things we ask for on the club signups that we never do anything with, but we always mean to, is people's birth dates.
Yeah.
And, like, we don't care about the year.
No.
We just want to know your birthday. So, in theory, we could do something special to, like, call out your birthday. Like, hey, you get a free scoop of ice cream, like a Baskin-Robbins kind of thing.
Yeah, I wish
we're bad at that.
Yeah, in 2019,
we're really bad at that.
I don't have an answer for this right now, but I would like you and I to figure out some better database for that so we can do something about that.
Years ago, we started making an actual CSV file with it that Donovan was doing, and she hated doing it.
Yeah, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would be, and more importantly, I don't know what we would do with it. Like, we need to figure out those two problems simultaneously.
Yep.
But in 2019, I would like for us to utilize that information better. Something for people in store on their birthday. Some specific regulated thing. Because usually, like, there's been people who they come in, and if we're pulling up their account and it is their birthday, or their birthday was a day in either direction, we might do something for them, but there's not a set procedure.
Yeah. And most of the time, it's if I'm friends with them on Facebook and I notice it that morning, I'll be like, oh, by the way, it's this person's birthday.
Yeah, so, that's... Sometime in the next 2 weeks, I'd like for us to, at some point, figure that out.
What we have to look ahead to during this podcast, what we usually do toward the end of the year and the start of the year, we'll do a breakdown of the top-selling single issues, a breakdown of the top-selling graphic novels.
Yep.
That'll be stuff Dal is doing.
Spoiler, it's going to be Saga.
Yeah, probably. It's not going to be the
trade one is almost definitely because
history of professional wrestling.
I'll usually check it those two entries in December just to get an idea of like where are we pacing out at as far as different sales go and what's near the top and how many is at the top and that kind of thing. And that's all stuff we'll talk about in a few weeks. But a Saga volume is almost definitely going to be the number one trade for the year.
But will it in 2019?
Tough call.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah. Comic-wise, I don't really know. I haven't really checked. It's probably a Batman comic or something. It would not be a shock if it were a Batman or a DC comic. I'm trying to think of what else would even be near that level. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, right. We were going to talk about Dogman for a second. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
So the new volume of Dogman, volume 6, I think it is.
I think so.
Comes out Christmas Eve.
December 24th.
December 24th. And Dogman is a huge seller for us. It was the number one seller at that Chi-Tag show we did.
Oh, my God. Literally every kid. When I was racking, I'm like, we're going to put Dogman on an aisle spot so people can see it. And oh my god, did it make so many kids run up to the booth.
So Dogman does really well for us. And the new one comes out on the 24th. Only not through Diamond.
Yeah, we
It doesn't.
stupidly ordered it through Diamond, which teaches us a lesson for future Dogman volumes. Because not only are we not getting it December 26th, 2 days after its release day, we're not even getting it January 2nd, 9 days after its
Right.
release day.
So we did an emergency order through a different distributor because, in theory, we will have parents rushing in to get it as one more gift
Yeah, it's possible.
for Christmas.
Yeah, December 24th.
We
I'm
wanted
sure
to have
there's
it on hand for that reason.
plenty of kids that are hoping to see that under the Christmas tree December 25th.
I mean, that's so mean. It's not as mean as Image releasing a Saga volume on December 26th last year, which they did.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
not
day
good.
after Christmas. Thanks.
Or DC releasing Mr. Miracle in January.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. Do you
Or-
know how many people who came in this year who were like looking for the next Vision, and it's like, well, it would have been Mr. Miracle,
Yep.
but it's not because you're not going to come back in January. For it.
Or Amazing Spider-Man 12 coming out this week and 11 coming out last week. Why not push 12 to the Christmas week?
Yeah.
Give us one more reason to come in, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're getting Dogman from somewhere else because our main distributor could not get it to us anywhere near the release time.
Yeah, it seems like the soonest we'd probably get it, and even that's a question mark, is January 9th,
Yeah.
which, I mean,
That's terrible.
That's
3 weeks after. Yeah.
Yeah, not great.
But what is great this time of year is how much everyone wants to help their fellow man and how kind everyone is to each other. And even though it may be an act to trick old St. Nick into giving you more presents, it is a feeling that hopefully we can hold on to longer. And I like to think that 2019 is full of hope.
Sure.
It's a blank canvas where we get to fix all the mistakes of 2018 and do better and be better as people and better as a comic store.
Let's hope so.
And we sincerely hope that you have a wonderful holiday weekend, whatever you celebrate, whatever you're doing for it, even if you choose to ignore it and to do nothing. There's a British comedian I'm a big fan of, Sarah Millican, and every year on Christmas she does a Twitter hashtag. Like, she's posting everything she's doing, and it's a way for people to follow along and be part of a Christmas thing.
Okay.
And she monitors what people are posting to it. It's like follow along or something. I will look it up and I will drop it in. Follow along on Christmas Day on Twitter. Hashtag join in.
I'm sure both of us will be posting some of our Christmas stuff to Instagram. I think I plan to.
I won't. I'll be enjoying the day.
You'll be seeing some of what I've been doing on Christmas Day on Instagram.
Man, Christmas came today for you. How many robots did you get today?
A lot. We received.
I want a number.
Okay, so from Southern Hobby, who we do our Hasbro orders from,
Oh god, it's from multiple places.
the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Deluxes, Micromasters, and Battlemasters all came in. That
is 3 separate series, by the way.
Well, one series, 3 size classes. That's
Three different cases of toys.
That's 10 packages of figures.
Okay.
Because the Micromasters are 2 packs. That's altogether. That's 13 robots.
Okay.
Then the other half of a TF Source pre-order shipment showed up. For me, in that box, there were 2 figures, I think, because one was for a Christmas gift for somebody.
Okay.
That was left there, and I asked Kent to wrap it because it was just a small box.
Sure.
So hopefully he did that.
Well, I don't think that person will be coming in before Christmas.
Well, I wanted to make
yeah.
sure it was wrapped just
Sure.
in case. You never know.
Sure.
This time of year. And that's on top of some stuff I've been holding off on for a few weeks to wait for Christmas Day. I like having... I'm sure I've mentioned this before on other podcasts. My rule is that if I get anything that's non-essential, like a toy or a video game or a movie, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I keep it aside for Christmas. So on Christmas morning, I'll have something fun to open. Do you know what I mean? No matter what else Christmas might bring, there is something fun for Christmas.
You have so many things. Like this is
It's a lot. It's not all going to get open on Christmas.
this
Let me-
beats probably any Christmas you had as a child,
almost definitely.
just by quantity. I don't mean quality.
I overdid it for myself this Christmas.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Which is just as well now because
I'm not getting a thing.
I
from
did
you
not
for
get
Christmas.
you a thing. I did not get you anything for Christmas.
That is Patrick's catchphrase for Christmas for me. There's definitely a clue in there that I'm.
It's not so much a clue; it's just a mission statement because of what happened on your birthday.
Okay. What happened on my birthday?
I
Only good things.
I had to take back things I got you because you also got you.
Understood.
So I said, and I think I said right then and there, I go, hey, for Christmas, I'm not getting you a thing. So yeah.
Remains to be seen. Well, Patrick, I'll have you know I'm also not getting you a thing for Christmas.
Fair enough. Especially if it doesn't show up from England. That's a thing.
Hong Kong.
I know there are.
Hong Kong.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they do the manufacturing in China.
Gotcha.
Or Hong Kong.
Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Maybe
you're
I'll-
almost certainly right.
Maybe I'll wait until next week to say that it's...
Yeah, no, it definitely... if it's not, we both are going to be upset.
Dal, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Patrick.
And you, dear listener, Merry Christmas. Thanks for listening.
And keep ho-ho-hoing.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.
We should have a ho-ho-ho off.
Oh, okay. I don't usually do them.
It's because Santa doesn't do the traditional ho-ho-ho.
Why?
He does 4.
Ho-ho-ho-ho.
No,
Really?
he's I'm dropping in the audio
Okay.
for the comic stores somewhere in this.
Mm-hmm.
But he does ho 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 ho.
Oh, okay.
It's a ha ha ho ho.
Yeah, it's
Ha ha ho ho.
it's a very specific cadence that he's doing. It's not the traditional one.
Right.
I wouldn't say complaint, it's just
My
concern.
My ho 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 is ho ho ho.
Okay.
Ho ho ho.
Okay. I don't practice mine, so this is going to be kind of like learning as we do. Mm-hmm. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho.
I swear to God.
I go up real high in the first one.
I swear to God, I thought yours was going to be woo.
No. That's...
Your Ric Flair impression.
I wanted to give it some ho ho ho.
Well, Dal, I think it's a tie. Hey, as we were doing that, we just got the email from Southern Hobby. Hey, here's your invoice.
That showed up already. That showed up before we started.
I just got the...
Oh, okay, because I
across
had
the top.
I had it a little while ago.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, 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 ho.
Oh.